Great Sunday evening, April 18th, 2021. Thank the Lord for the closing of another beautiful day. We are in the 25th chapter of 1 Samuel, and it's a very familiar story. But before we get into the narrative of that occurrence in David's life, it opens up with 3 words. And you could just remember how this chapter opened up with Hannah being so sad because she couldn't have a child. And she said, Lord, if you open my womb, if you bless me, then as long as this child lives, he will be yours. He will be lent of the Lord. Well, the 3 words of 1 Samuel, the 25th chapter. And Samuel died. He had a beautiful life. It was rich. It was busy. He accomplished the will of the Lord. But there's going to come an expiration date for all of us, unless we go home and we're called up to be with the Lord. But if that's not the case, then all of us are going to have that. And what matters is what we do with that dash, right? That hyphen. We've seen it before. Whatever is our date of birth, and the hyphen, and then our date where we transition into eternity. What are we doing with the dash? What are we doing with that hyphen? Are we just wasting time? Are we sleeping? Are we just dawdling? Or are we accomplishing what God has meant for us to do? What do you have to say about that? We have determination this week to do God's will. Well, this is also the chapter about Abigail and Nabal. And we know that Nabal was a very rich man, and he had like 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. And David looked out. His men protected the shepherds and the sheep shearers, and they were like a fence around his property. And David just was like, can you look out for a brother? Can you spare some food and whatever? We dealt kindly to you. But Nabal returned evil. He was like, no, how? I mean, this day and age, we don't know who's out here, just who's Jesse's son, who's David, And he was a rich man, and he didn't bless him. And, David was like, oh, snap. Are you kidding me? We did all that, and we didn't even ask for anything. And then now that we're, in need, you can't even hook a brother up. So he was about to take some men, 400 or 600 men with their swords. But someone caught wind and told Nabal's wife what happened. And you know what she did. Sister girl was wise. She was a Proverbs 31 woman. She was like, oh, no. She got the food together, and she spoke kindly to David. She knew what to do, and she calmed the whole situation. And when Nabal found out what the whole situation took place, because Nabal was about to be killed by David, but this was because Abigail just calmed the whole situation, that Nabal's heart failed. Because, he was drunk, he was having a party, and then he found out what happened. And 10 days after the party and after his heart failed, then that's when he died. Something. Now, the end of this chapter was that David found out that Nabal died, and then he went to get Abigail as a wife. And he already had a wife, so, And then remember, Saul gave Michelle as a wife for him. So this is the beginning of him getting some multiple wives. But what I have to say is Proverbs 18:22, whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. You just only want one wife, son. You just only want one. And she's going to be a fortunate young lady. But you don't want to be like Nabal. You don't want to be foolish out here. You know, you want to be generous, you want to bless others, and you want to be able to find your one Abigail. What do you have to say about this? Because God is preparing you to be a family man. You're going to be a wonderful husband, a wonderful father, and you're going to, well, what do you have to say about David or Nabal or any of that?
Well, not much.
Not much. Well, the Lord's going to bless you much as you continue to listen to his voice. And this is very important. I was saying this today, that you have to speak to yourself, speak positively, speak life. And it says in verse 20 of Proverbs 18, a man's belly, his life, shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Why? Because death and life is in the power of the tongue. So it's so important what you tell yourself, you know, what you listen to, what you put into your heart, because that's going to direct your life. And you want to, I've been studying all about giftedness tonight, and there's such thing as 2E. That means twice exceptional, where you might have a disability, but you might have giftedness. Well, the promise of the Lord is a woman's gift will make room for them and bring them before great men and great women as we put God first. So let's be careful what comes out of our lips. Make sure it's not a snare unto our soul, but that we will make sure that our mouth is a wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. And woe the places we will go because we put God first. Have a wonderful evening, enjoying the promises of the Lord.